Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Assembly Bethesda On Air. I'm your host, Hayne Fogarty, so genuinely glad you've joined me today as we open the Bible and let its timeless wisdom speak directly into our lives. Today, we're diving deep into a story that packs a punch, focusing on Zacchaeus and that incredibly powerful verse in Luke 19:8, where he declares his intent to give half his goods to the poor. We're going to take our time, walk through the entire account, and talk about what it means for us in simple, everyday ways. No fancy theological jargon, just straight talk about transformation and the beautiful heart of generosity. Let's get right into it, shall we? The story begins with Jesus entering Jericho, a bustling, prosperous city, full of life and people going about their daily routines. Amidst all that activity was a man named Zacchaeus. Now, Zacchaeus wasn't just any citizen. He was the chief tax collector. Think about that for a moment. He had climbed the ladder in a system that essentially took money from his own people to line the pockets of the Roman authorities. He was incredibly rich, yes, but he also carried the heavy weight of being deeply disliked, perhaps even despised by almost everyone in his community. People saw him as a traitor, someone who routinely took more than his fair share. Yet, he still wanted to see Jesus. What's truly fascinating about Zacchaeus is his sheer determination to see Jesus. He heard the buzz, the whispers about this incredible teacher passing through, and he wanted a glimpse. But here's the thing. Zacchaeus was short, and the crowd, as you can imagine, was thick. So what did he do? He ran ahead and, get this, climbed a sycamore tree just to get a better view. Can you picture that? A respected, wealthy, grown man up in a tree simply to catch sight of someone everyone was talking about. It's a wonderfully human moment, isn't it? And then the story takes an even more surprising turn. When Jesus reached that exact spot, he looked up directly into the tree and called Zacchaeus by name. "Zacchaeus," he said, "hurry and come down, for I must stay at your house today." Just like that, Jesus singled him out. Nobody else in that huge crowd received such a personal, direct invitation. And Zacchaeus, he came down quickly, full of joy, and welcomed Jesus gladly. Now, you can bet the people around them started grumbling immediately. "Can you believe it?" they must have whispered. "He's gone to be the guest of a sinner." But Jesus, in his infinite wisdom and love, did not let their complaints deter him. He went anyway. And that singular act, that shared time together, changed Zacchaeus forever. The shift in Zacchaeus' heart, birthed from that encounter with Jesus, was immediate and incredibly dramatic. Right there, in front of everyone, Zacchaeus stood up and declared to the Lord, "Look, Lord, here and now I give half of my goods to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." That, my friends, is our key verse, Luke 19:8. What a bold, astonishing declaration. Let's just sit with that for a moment because it's truly profound. Half his goods. Not a tenth, not just some leftover change, but a full 50% of his wealth. And as if that weren't enough, he committed to full restoration with interest to anyone he had wronged. And not just any interest, but 4 times the amount. This wasn't a minor adjustment to his financial plan. This was a complete, seismic shift in how he lived with money and, crucially, how he related to people. This went far beyond the legal requirements of the time, which typically demanded restitution plus a fifth. Zacchaeus was choosing to go above and beyond, demonstrating a profound internal change, an overflow of grace in action. So why did Zacchaeus do it? What compelled him to make such a radical commitment? It wasn't because Jesus gave him a long lecture on social justice or pressured him into an act of penance. No, it was because meeting Jesus, experiencing his unconditional love and acceptance, stirred something profoundly real within him. The presence of Jesus opened Zacchaeus' eyes, not only to the needs of the people around him, but also to the truth of his own past actions. He didn't need guilt or external pressure. The love he felt was enough to move his heart toward this incredible act of generosity. In our world today, we see plenty of talk about giving and helping the poor. There are campaigns, fundraisers, countless social media posts, and many are good, no doubt. But Zacchaeus shows us something deeper,
something more intrinsic. True generosity, the kind that truly transforms, flows from a heart that has been genuinely changed, not from obligation or a desire to look good. It comes when we truly grasp how much we ourselves have been given through Christ. Think about the practical side of this. Zacchaeus had accumulated wealth, often through questionable means. He chose to release a massive portion of it immediately. That money could feed families, offer help to widows, and support countless people struggling daily. It was direct, personal, and impactful.
Zacchaeus' act was not just a personal declaration. It was a public demonstration of a profound inward change. And Jesus, in turn, celebrated this transformation. He declared, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is a son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." You see, the outward act of giving wasn't the cause of his salvation, but rather the compelling proof that salvation had indeed arrived in his heart and home. It's a beautiful picture, isn't it? We can learn so much from this powerful story, friends. First, and this is so encouraging, Jesus knows your name, and he knows your situation, no matter how complex or messy it might seem. He calls you down from whatever metaphorical tree you might be hiding in, or whatever circumstance you find yourself in. Second, spending genuine time with Jesus profoundly changes our priorities. What once seemed all important suddenly shifts in perspective. And third, genuine generosity, that open-handed spirit, becomes a natural outpouring when you truly experience his grace and acceptance. For anyone listening today who feels stuck in old patterns, perhaps weighed down by past choices, this story brings immense hope. Zacchaeus was far from perfect before Jesus arrived. He was deeply enmeshed in an unjust system. Yet one encounter, one moment with Jesus, was enough to ignite a brand new direction for his life.
So, how can we apply this powerful lesson? Let's honestly look at our own resources. What do we have that could bless others? Perhaps it's our time, our unique skills, our money, or even our possessions. Don't feel compelled to start grandly. Begin small if you need to, but cultivate that open-handed spirit Zacchaeus showed. Remember, while the crowd grumbled, Jesus focused on the heart. That's a vital reminder for us not to judge too quickly when someone makes a big change. Instead, let's celebrate transformation. Jericho was a hub where taxes were collected. Zacchaeus sat right at the economic center of that city. His decision to give half his wealth away in Jericho, a major trade hub, would have been highly noticed. It was public faith, bold and unequivocal, put into action. Salvation truly came to his house that day, not because of the giving, but the giving powerfully showed that salvation had arrived. It's grace first, always, then our joyful response. This pattern repeats throughout Scripture. Encounters with God lead to lives of justice and mercy. In our daily lives, this might mean budgeting differently, supporting local ministries, helping neighbors, or advocating for fairness. The key, like Zacchaeus, is letting Jesus into the house, into all those private areas, especially our finances. Zacchaeus climbed down ready to follow. We can do the same. Thank you for joining me. God bless, and until next time, courage. Find more at www.assemblybethesda.com.